Well, good morning, magandang umaga, and welcome to today's episode of My PI Dream. 2 days since the last episode where we talked about the coronavirus and sort of the comparisons between the Philippines and the U.S. as far as response. So, here we are, more than 24 hours out. I decided to wait a day so we can kind of look at some of the numbers. I do have some good news for you today, and I have some bad news, and we'll get into that when we get into today's episode. Now, let's go ahead and get into today's episode. So without further delay, let's get today's video underway. Here it is Sunday morning in the backyard here at Villa Feliz, and what a beautiful morning it is here in the Philippines, especially right here. We have some overcast, which makes it a little bit cooler here. We got a very light breeze going through. Again, that makes it very comfortable here in the backyard. Now, I decided to take one day off from this reporting on the coronavirus, the COVID-19 situation. As you know, we did the episode the day before yesterday on Friday to do a comparison between reactions inside the U.S., reactions inside the Philippines, do some comparisons with some numbers. And we've received a lot of really good comments, some favorable about what we talked about, some not so favorable, but the majority of the people tended to agree that the recommendation that we were saying here, which is what we were trying to get across, the point that isolation or quarantine, as is specifically known, self-quarantine is almost mandatory to be able to isolate these into small areas, take the time out to allow the conditions to go away, the symptoms, and recover from that, and then have a hopefully non-infected population. And that was the point that episode was trying to get across. It really wasn't supposed to be a political statement, although it kind of seemed like it at a certain point, because we talked about either responsibilities or irresponsibilities of governments to be able to handle this situation. Now, we are a little over 24 hours away from the last. I want to do some updates, and updates don't really look too good for the United States specifically. Again, that's my home country, and I'm very concerned about what goes on there, but I'm also concerned with what goes on globally, because we are all humans and we want to make sure that everybody is taken care of. Now, we watched the news last night. We stayed up until 2 a.m. watching the news. It was good that the administration came online and they addressed the nation on what they're doing. That is a good thing. I do believe, though, that there were some measures that could have been taken to go a step beyond and commit some things that they didn't do last night. And I'm gonna give you a couple of case in points. Now, you know the saying, drastic times calls for drastic measures. Well, I consider this to be drastic times, and I think there are some drastic measures that need to be put into place, whether they're popular with the people or not popular with the people. If it is in the effect that they are to make you safer, sometimes you have to make choices that aren't very popular with many people. You have to do that. And as a leader of a nation, you should be making choices like that. Now, just a couple of things that I observed from last night. The briefing, the special briefing in the U.S., the White House briefing, and it had to do with one that they are still not committing to a nationwide quarantine. I do believe that since every state is infected, and unless there's enforcement for a nationwide type of a quarantine, that all these places that are not following these types of protocol, you're going to have people running around that don't seem symptomatic, but are actually infected, that are going to continue to infect other people inside their area, and if they cross over borders different states, the places that have been working so hard to put quarantines into place, they're going to go back and reinfect those people. Again, that's my opinion. And the other thing I want to make a mention is the thing that we have so many people that are overseas, like ourselves here. Although we live here inside the Philippines, there are a lot of people who don't have the luxury of having a home in a foreign country. They're tourists. They're normally tourists. And we have a lot of them that are stranded at airports. There are many airports around the world, and this was brought up last night inside the briefing, that are stuck. And they've been stuck there for maybe 1, 2, maybe 3 days trying to get out. Now, there was direction, and it was good direction by the administration that said, everybody from outside the U.S. who is traveling needs to get back inside the U.S. I agree with that. I think everybody, if you don't have a home, it's common sense to get back home to where you can secure yourself and to deal with the issues instead of sitting in a populated airport. Now, the response or the reaction of how to do that, and this happened after the president left, and he left his vice president in charge of answering this question, and the vice president answered that the people need to contact their embassy.
We would just encourage any American that's looking on from overseas, contact the local U.S. embassy, let them know about your circumstances, and know that we're going to continue to work very diligently to get our Americans home.
Embassy. Well, I don't know if you've ever dealt with the embassy before. The U.S. Embassy is there to help you if you are a U.S. citizen, but unfortunately, in a time like this, you're going to know they're going to be overwhelmed with a lot of things that are going on. And just like me and Ness and I trying to contact the airlines and contact our booking agent, a lot of times there's non-responsiveness to this because of the demand, and I have a feeling that that's what's happening with people at embassies. I don't know if you are someone that's stranded overseas and you're trying to get in contact with your embassy, please share your experience with us. Now, another thing that the vice president mentioned extremely briefly is that there is military transport available. Now, what did that mean? Well, he didn't expand upon that, and he didn't commit.
I think there is an ongoing effort to address that with chartered commercial flights that the government is providing. Obviously, also military transport is available, but our task force received a briefing this morning, and
know that the U.S. Air Force, they have 222 C-17 transport aircraft. Very capable, very fast, able to get, they call it global reach, to be able to get from the U.S. to any place around the world within hours. We also have 22 C-5 Galaxies, and those are the huge aircraft that are normally tasked to carry military, cargo, and people, as well as contractors, and can be used in national emergencies. I don't know why, as within hours, that they didn't commit these resources that we have, because the U.S. military, in my opinion, and I think it's generally the opinion of everywhere around the world, they have the number one ability or capability as far as military manpower and resources and technology. I don't know why we're not utilizing those resources. Okay, so enough about that. Again, I just wanted to be very brief on that topic. Now, I said in the opening this morning we have some good news and bad news. So the bad news is I waited over 24 hours to do an analysis looking at those charts from different places, and they all most of the data comes from the same place, World Health Organization or the Center for Disease Control, and these are the people who are tracking the numbers. Now, when we reported on Friday the numbers of corona cases in the U.S. Was number 6, and let me see if I can go back and look at my list of countries. But in the order, I think 2 days ago, I think it was China was number 1, and we'll go down. We'll go to the top 6 from the highest to the lowest in the top 6. China, Italy, Spain, Germany, Iran, and then in the USA. I believe I quoted the number at the time that we reported that the total cases in the U.S. on Friday, I think it was 14,299. Well, from Friday to Sunday, we skipped one day, remember, the U.S. has gone from 14,299 to where I just looked at here this morning, just before 11 o'clock a.m. on Sunday, 2 days later. We are up to 26,711. That's a drastic increase, which means now, when you look at the numbers that the other countries are reporting, Germany and Spain, who were higher than us in their count, we are now above them. So we ran from the number 6 position and we moved up the ladder. We are now at the number 3 position, with only Italy and China ahead of us for the amount of total cases that are inside the country. So that's bad. That's the bad news. And remember, I said drastic times calls for drastic measures, and I think that we're way beyond that, but it can still be done, and I hope there's a lot of attention that's done to that. So, good news. Unfortunately for us, the good news is for us right now, and I have to thank the viewers, the people who support our channel, the subscribers and the viewers, whether you're a subscriber or not, for chiming in from time to time. You've helped us many times here with suggestions when it came to the build here, when Villa Feliz was being built, making recommendations. You helped us when our PLDT internet went down. You are the people that complained. It was incredible. You complained about the outage because you wanted to continue seeing the updates from Villa Feliz during the build. You complained directly to PLDT, and they put us back online very quickly here for that. So I want to thank you for that as well. But I also want to thank you for responding to our dilemma that we had with trying to get our airline tickets rescheduled. Remember, we made a decision. We pretty much explained at the end of the last episode that we want to stay in the Philippines. We feel safer in place. And one of the main reasons we feel safer in place here in the Philippines is because Ness, she has asthma, and it's not a good thing to be in mass crowds confined to airspace cabins in airports for the amount of times that our tickets had us changed, specifically in South Korea. It's not good sound advice to be doing that travel at this time. Now I want to reach out to our subscribers, Dennis and Wendy, who both work for Delta Airlines, and thank them so much for them coming forward, recognizing our dilemma here, and taking care of the situation. That is a command action, and they did it so quick and so swiftly, and that's the kind of the things that we need everywhere around the world for people to respond quickly to need. I also want to thank Delta Airlines for, on their website, if you look, they have this waiver inside there where they are addressing that if you have an issue with travel and you are traveling within a specific time period, that they identify that this is a problem period, this is a problem with the coronavirus, and they are waiving all fees and penalties so that you can do either a cancellation or a modification of your reservation. And I want to do a thumbs up for both Delta and Dennis and Wendy. Thank you very much for helping us out with that. Well, that is the good story that we had for today. I hope we have many more good stories in the near future. We'll continue to report on what's going on with the coronavirus. Not big changes here inside the Philippines. Now, something I wanted to show you that's kind of cool in the Philippines, I don't know if we have this in the U.S. Like in the U.S. we have something like national broadcasting station, or when you have emergency broadcasting. Usually when you're watching television, you'll get this big beep that comes across, and it will interrupt the programming and will tell you if there's any type of a national emergency that's coming up. Well, they have the same thing here in the Philippines as well, and where I notice it mostly is on my phone. They have something, we get reports, we get alerts from NTC, and they'll give you the latest in COVID-19 updates, whether it be on their official government website on Facebook, or if it's on Twitter, or it's the a website that they have that they're tracking something. We were receiving that during the Taal volcano situation, and we're receiving it now for all of the coronavirus updates. But as far as policy, I think policy is kind of in place right here, and I haven't really seen any differences, any changes in where we are. We're kind of status quo in our quarantine mode right now. I think I'm going to close it from here. I think I'm going to go back inside the house, maybe watch some YouTube, and then later on this afternoon do a little bit more work inside the yard. Now, something I would like to try to do in some upcoming episodes is I would like to do a Skype video teleconference with some of our subscribers who are in different parts of the world. As you know, we are worldwide, we're global. We have subscribers in Europe, we have them in Africa, we have them in Asia, we have them in North America, we have them everywhere around the globe. Now, what I would like to do, if you have an opportunity and you wish to share some of your stories, your experience about what's going on in your country, in your city, in your neighborhood, please email me at the email in the description blocks that I will show for today. And then maybe what we can do is we can set up a Skype video teleconference. We'll capture that and we'll put that on one of our upcoming episodes. I think that would be a great opportunity to share how different places are responding to this pandemic. Now, until our next episode, you be safe, ingat, and have a wonderful and hopefully virus-free day. If you enjoyed today's episode and you would like to see more just like these, just click on one of the helpful links over to your right and you might be able to pick up on some good information on DIY projects, how to, or if you are interested in moving to the Philippines and building, you'll find answers there as well.